Hello, Year 4, and welcome to Science. We are going to be using classification keys. You've already used a classification key to classify mammals, and now we're going to use them for, not mammals, to classify vertebrates, one of the examples being mammals, and we are going to classify invertebrates today. So today we're going to use branching keys to identify living things by looking at their characteristics. The characteristics of living things are what make it similar or different to other living things. We talked about that when we even branched out and did plants versus animals. All species of living things have a unique set of characteristics. Species with similar characteristics are put into groups. This is how we classify living things. So the next slide has a classification key. You've already used the classification key when you classified vertebrate animals into groups: fish, birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. Do you remember that work? Now we'll use to classify invertebrates into different groups. So you may need to make the slides bigger or make the picture bigger when you do your Google Doc. This is what a classification key looks like. Do you remember it has a question at the top? You answer yes or no, and you continue down the questions in order to find the animal. The last lesson we did, you put the animal groups in. This time, they have the animal names on here, and you are going to name the animals using the key. So it's a little bit different, yet the same. So let's first take a look at this. In this video, they're going to use the word dichotomous key because there's always a yes or no question. But we are going to, in our lesson, call it a classification key. So let's watch the video together. I'm going to turn off my video now so that you can see the whole video and you won't be able to see my image anymore throughout this lesson.
So here's a simple example that I put together to help you understand the power of a dichotomous key. In this example, you're asked to create a key that will ultimately help you identify which animal you are asked to name. This example consists of 11 animals, and at the moment, these 11 animals form one big group. So your task is to separate them into 11 individual groups, one animal per group, using a series of yes and no questions. Now there's many questions that we can ask, but I'm going to start by asking if these animals are mammals. Remember that mammals are warm-blooded vertebrate animals that have fur or hair and produce milk to nourish their young. So simply by asking this question, I'm separating a group of 11 animals into two smaller groups. Those that are mammals on the left and those that are non-mammals on the right. So let's continue separating the mammals on the left. I can ask the question, does the mammal live on land? Again, there's two possible outcomes to this. Yes, they live on land, or no, they do not. If I continue with the monkey and the cow, I can ask another question. Does the mammal have horns? Yes or no? So at this point, the cow and the monkey are in their own group. So I've reached the end of this portion of the dichotomous key. So I can do the same with the orca whale and the dolphin, and I would ask a question such as, is the mammal black and white? Yes or no? So now that the four mammals are separated and are in their own groups, I would have to do the same on the right with the non-mammals in this figure. So I've gone through a series of steps. I've asked, does the non-mammal have feathers? Does it have webbed feet? Does it slither on its belly? Does it have scales, etc., etc.? I have all 11 animals in their own group. So now I have a working dichotomous key. So the next step of this video is to show you how you could use your key. So your instructor comes to you and hands you an unknown animal and asks you to identify it. Now I'm probably hearing some of you say, I know what a dolphin looks like when I see one, that I don't need a dichotomous key to identify it. But this is just an example, and just go with it for the moment. So keep in mind that this key will only help you identify one of the 11 animals presented on this key. If your instructor handed you an unknown animal that is not part of this key, then by using your dichotomous key, there's no way that you could possibly identify it. Okay, so you're going to ask the first question. Is my unknown animal a mammal? Yes or no? Now you look at it and you reply, yes it is. Based on this answer, you can now disregard the right side of this key, because the right side of this key are the non-mammals. So your answer has led you to this next question. Does my mammal live on land? No, it doesn't. So we're going to disregard the monkey and the cow. This now leads you to the next question. Is my unknown animal black and white? No, it is not. Your animal is now identified as a dolphin.
Okay, so let's take a look at the classification key we're going to be using today, and we're going to use it in a similar way. So first of all, we have to know some of the words that they're going to be asking us on this on this classification key. They're going to ask if the insect has antenna, a head, a thorax, an abdomen, whether it has forewings and hind wings, whether it has a proboscis, which is the kind of almost like a straw that comes out of a insect's mouth. It is their mouth. Butterflies use it to drink out of flowers. Whether it has many segments to its body, like this millipede, and then whether it has either 8 legs, many legs, or 6 legs. I want you to see for a second that this little animal has something called prolegs too. So let's take a look at this invertebrate. This invertebrate has 6 legs. It has a wing case. It has an abdomen, a thorax, and a head, and it has antenna. And then it has pincers here, but it's in the front, and they're called mandibles. So if we take that animal as an example and we start at the top, it says, does it have legs? Well, we could see that it had legs. It had 6 of them. So then the next question says, how many legs does it have? It had 6 legs. Does it have wing cases? We saw that the picture did have wing cases, yes. And then, did it have pincers on its tail? No, it didn't. And that was called a beetle. That has to go away for you to see. That animal was called a beetle. So how are you going to use the classification keys today? You're going to always start at the top with, does it have legs? And then answer yes or no. You're going to continue answering the questions as you head down the classification key. At the end, you will have the name of your invertebrate. So the next slides will have pictures of an invertebrate. The slide after will be the classification key. You're going to use the picture to identify the features of the creatures and then answer the yes and no questions on the classification key. Each creature is only shown once on the slide, so don't name an animal twice when you go and do your work. This one, I know these look like legs in the back, but actually, see, there's 1, 2, 3 legs on this side, and you have to assume there's 3 legs on the other side. It has many sections to its body, and I don't see any antennas on there. So, does it have legs? Yes. How many did it have? It had 6 legs. Did it have wing cases? No. Did it have a long body? Yes, it did. That is a caterpillar. I have to make this disappear for you to see. It was a caterpillar. Here's another example. It has that mandible like we saw before. It has antenna. It has 1, 2, 3 legs on this side and 1, 2, 3 legs on the right side. That means it has 6 legs. It has an abdomen and a thorax. So if we take a look again, we say, does it have legs? Yes. How many legs does it have? 6 legs. Does it have wing cases? No. Does it have a long, thin body? No, it did not. It was an ant. Do you see how I'm doing this? This one we can see it has no legs. It has many segments to its body and no antennae. Does it have legs? No. Does it have a segmented body? Yes, there was segments to it. And does it have a long, thin body? Yes, it had a very long, thin body. That was an earthworm. You're going to continue doing those. We can see again, antenna, many segments, many legs. You will go down the questions. Does it have legs? Yes. How many legs? Many legs. And you will have to continue doing this. Whether it has an oval body. An oval body is like a squish circle. I hope you know that from maths. That was a long body. Here is an oval body, in case you're wondering. Here, this one doesn't have any legs, but it does have antenna. Okay, so no legs. This one has 8 legs. Sure, you can find the name of that animal. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It also has 8 legs. You'll notice that you might want to say that they're both spiders. You're going to have to go down this chart and actually learn the name of both of those. And then there's this little one, only has 6 legs here and many segments, and no legs on this animal. We should probably already know this one because it was my example in the beginning. And then your last one is this one that has the pincers in the back of its body. So here's the antenna in the front, pincers in the back, 6 legs, 3 sections to its body. And many segments, many legs, but little short legs on this animal. So remember, does it have very short legs? Yes, that one had very short legs. Okay, so you will be doing that work. Let me show you what that work looks like. That work looks like this. You can either look at the slides or you can look at this work. I have the key here and at the very bottom of this work. And the directions again on how to use the classification key is here. The classification key is here. And then these are the animals, and you tell me the name that you will get from the classification key. So you follow the questions from the top down. You will figure out the animal's name, and you will put them in these boxes. The first 2 I did with you. The first 3 really, but I didn't say the name of this animal. And you see all of these are in order. You can check the slides if you'd like to see the images bigger. And you can see the classification key bigger on the slides. So please go back and look at that if you'd like to. You can always just pause my video also in order to hear me talk about the animal or to look at the classification key a little bit bigger. So that is your work today. Good luck, scientists.